Good stuff.
Wow.
All right.
I did not expect it to be on the hot seat today.
Well, I hope it was all right.
Like, a part of me was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I'm doing this video to have Niraj talk about himself. And I was like, well, just go with it. This is what's coming into your life right now. So,
Yeah, that was a good one. That was cool.
mm,
In a soul-destroying job, hating my life, and wondering what have I done with my life because I'd lost a third of my body weight. I had no job, no money, and I moved away from my parents because it was too toxic, the environment. So I went to live with my friend. I wasn't paying rent because I couldn't afford to, and he was paying for my food, and I owe a lot to him, and somehow I managed to make it work. And that's what I want to talk to you about is how do we create the right conditions for healing? Like what does that really mean? So
yes.
does are you okay?
Um, Not really. I mean,
Horrible programming that happened to you, completely not your fault, that left this imprint and installed in your operating system that you have to be alone, nobody likes you, the world's out to get you, it's a hostile place, and and that's it, right? And that's the worldview that has been formed from 11 years on,
mhm.
right? And
Yep,
11 is
colitis.
the man.
I didn't tell anyone for 2 years.
Oh wow.
So talk about the isolation at 11 years old, not even telling my parents.
Mm.
Oh my God, I'm going to say this in public. Hey, beautiful. I'm pretty excited today because I have a guest. And I'm excited because he is somebody that is impacting a lot of people nowadays. He has a very popular program on Mindvalley. He has been on Next Level Soul with Alex Ferrari. He's worked with Wim Hof, and he's also been on Evolving Out Loud with Kyle Cease. And today he's here with us. And we share a special connection. And for all these reasons, I'm super excited that he is here with us. His name is Niraj Naik, and here he is. Hi, Niraj. It is wonderful to meet you. I thank you very much for showing up on this channel.
Yes, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So before I start introducing you and that we start talking about things, the reason that you're here that is so special to me is first, I saw you for the first time about a month ago on Kyle C's,
That's right.
Evolving Out Loud.
Yeah.
And you took us, because I haven't mentioned it yet, what you do is your own brand and powerful thing of breath work. And in that session, you with Kyle Cease, you led us into a breath work. And it was something I've done some breath work before, but as you know, because many people have told you, what you do is like a next level thing. It's completely different because you combine different elements. And the other reason that I reached out to you was that when you shared your story, which you will do in a minute here, we share an experience with a gut autoimmune disease, which is ulcerative colitis. And
Mm.
our experience with it has been quite different, but we share that. And when I saw what you did and how it impacted me, by the way, I've been doing your breath work every day since. And it really speaks to me like nothing else in a long, long time. So that's why I wanted to bring you here for all the people on my channel or that will listen to this that are sensitive people and highly sensitive people who often also end up having chronic illness because this misalignment soul body that I believe results in chronic illness, we're really susceptible to that. And I wanted you here because you're having an impact on my life. And I think that you can have it for people who are going to listen here to you today.
Sure.
So,
Thank you. Love to see what I can, how I can help.
so tell us a little bit about your background and, of course, including how the chronic illness part and your lifestyle and things that happened to you led you to both the breath work and, in your case, the healing of your
Yeah.
chronic illness.
So that's right. I had ulcerative colitis back in, it was around 2010 I was diagnosed. And it was very debilitating. For about almost a year, I was housebound. You're going to toilet like 40 times a day. Lost a third of my body weight, and then I was given two choices from consultant: either have my colon removed or be guinea pig on a drug that hasn't been tested yet. And obviously, I didn't want to do any of those. And God sends a gift of desperation. In my most desperate moment, an act of God happened where now a dear friend of our family, Swami Ambikananda, she said to me, "You actually have a gift. If you can turn this around, you'd be an amazing role model for other people, and you can maybe create a more worthwhile career out of this." So to reverse back from that point, her prophecy came true. But to reverse back, I was actually a pharmacist, so I was working in the community pharmacy in the UK, and so I was seeing sick people all the time. But that wasn't really my passion. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. And I did it as a degree because it was something to fall back on. My mum encouraged me. Born as a child of immigrant parents in England, they have to really fight for survival, and so they are all about security. So you have to have a degree. So I did that, but my real passion was the music side. So I was a music producer, but also ran raves. I was a promoter, and I became very successful in the early days. When I was like 19, for about 3 years, I had a massive event, 2,000 people every month. But that all came crashing down because it's a very hedonistic, crazy lifestyle. But in the end, I lost it all and ended up having to fall back on my degree, became a pharmacist, and now I'm, in a soul-destroying job, hating my life, and wondering what have I done with my life, because I didn't feel like I was actually even helping anyone. I just saw people getting sick, not really getting better. People coming for one pill, go away with a whole shopping bag. So it was like non-stop, like a conveyor belt of suffering and misery. And then I actually went to a Tony Robbins event. That's the first time anyone told me that I could prevent diseases. So that's where I learned about diet, nutrition, exercise techniques, and just preventative, lifestyle changes. So I was like, look, I've got a pharmacy full of sick people. Let's test this out. So I tested it out, and I got some really good results. And to the point where I got promoted to head office of one of the biggest supermarket chains in the UK. And I came up with this healthy shopping list service just by changing people's diet. Diet's one of the big factors that leads to disease. So the diet changes that I was making was literally getting people off processed foods and onto more healthy foods. We're getting great results. So I was about to get this out to the masses, but then they shut the whole project down. And I just was totally disillusioned. I couldn't believe what the hell just happened. I worked so hard for this, and then they just took it away from me. There's like a whole nother failure, right? I worked so hard to get to this position. Boom. That's the same time.
Something that felt more aligned to you.
Yeah, way more aligned. But again, it wasn't really aligned because I'm in the head office of a big corporation. That's not who I am. Like corporate environments, I don't know if you ever worked in a corporate head office, but it's super soul destroying place.
Only
So
passed through.
yeah, and also like it was watering down my method. It wasn't really the full protocol that I would normally do if I was working with clients in a pharmacy. So it was very watered down. So it wasn't really what I wanted to do. And I'm so glad I got sick because it got me out of that and got me onto a much more aligned path. And what I also realized in my healing journey, right, was diet isn't enough. So I tried all the diet changes with colitis, and the one that worked the most, right, was the complete, almost carnivore-like diet, where I ate a lot of beef and bone broth, and that was amazing. And I discovered something called colostrum, which is the first food that comes from your mother. It's the first food that you drink,
Yeah.
but actually cow colostrum translates perfectly into humans, so you don't have to go out finding pregnant mothers. But colostrum actually heals the gut lining. So it's an amazing medicine. It's Ayurvedic medicine. So I discovered all this through my healing journey. But I realized that diet's not enough and I had to go much deeper. And I learned a lot about subconscious reprogramming techniques and things like that. But the main thing, the catalyst of everything, was the breathing techniques my Swami taught me that helped me turn off the stress and to get into these states where affirmations and unconscious programming works really well. So it allowed me to become my own software programmer. So I ended up actually creating my own modality. And the cool thing is that I found music is an amazing therapeutic tool if used properly. And rhythmic breathing is one of the components of this sequence of breathing techniques. When it's done to music, breathing to beats, it has this amazing therapeutic effect. So I made my own modality, discovered the power of breath retention, holding your breath, and so on and so forth, and how to get into these deep trance states. And I started to, really practice this a lot, as well as all the other lifestyle changes I discovered from Ayurveda and so on, so forth. And I got back to normal within 4 months with the colostrum as well. So I made my own
Wow.
protocol. So that became the foundation of the 21-day awakening journey in Soma Breath. But before that, I went on a crazy journey. I met Wim Hof in the early days before he was very famous. Helped him a lot in the early days. He rose to mega fame, and I wanted to actually create a pharmacy, really make a pharmacy, because breath-based exercises have so many, pranayama has so many techniques that it's really like a pharmacy. If you want to lower blood pressure, there's one for that. Unblock your nose, there's one for that. Constipation, one for that. Reduce asthma symptoms, protocol for that. So on and so forth. There's
Different
all these
breathing,
protocols.
different
Huh?
breathing rhythms and
Patterns, different
practices.
rhythms, different techniques, certain styles of breathing, nasal breathing techniques, alternate nostril techniques, so on and so forth. I ended up making Soma Breath into a pharmacy of breathing techniques. But I made this modality based on the one that I healed myself with, which is this rhythmic breathing followed by breath holds to amazing music with special guidance, hypnotic reprogramming guidance. And that's what I call the process neurosomatic programming, is using the body with the right language to transform from within. So you're programming the body, the hardware, through the software, the mind. It's very powerful. And then that's now become a very popular program. Cambridge University studied it. They did an amazing peer-reviewed research on this and showed how our technique, our modality, works as effectively as something like psychedelics used to treat depression. It has the same changes in the brain and creates the
Wow.
same kind of outcomes in the feedback from participants. So
And
that was an
it's
amazing
so
breakthrough.
wonderful that a
Yeah.
university, like something that is academically recognized, chose to do that
Yes.
research because a lot of people need that confirmation, right?
Yeah, and the top one in the world, Cambridge.
Yeah.
One of
Wow.
the best universities in the world. So now there's other universities like University of California doing study and other people doing studies. So yeah, but studies take so long. So you don't need more proof than our testimonials, right? We've got enough
Yeah.
proof. Just look at the feedback of our participants who do this training. It's phenomenal, incredible feedback.
So that's fascinating. And the reason that when I said that we had a different experience, there's a lot of things I relate to in what you're saying, some of the same beliefs, also holistic. I started having ulcerative colitis at 11 years old.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, back then it was like never seen in children. So
Yeah.
and I believe that it's because I was so highly sensitive. And this idea that I'm learning now of suppressing who you are and your true self and your feelings and just the truth of who you are, which completely disconnects you from your soul, it diminishes your immune system And I
Correct.
had, certainly a predisposition for ulcerative colitis. And then it just, flared up and it almost killed me a few times. Like
Oh my
I
gosh.
was I was very sick. And at 28, I was in the hospital for more than a month and they couldn't get it under control. And they had asked me to have my colon removed before when I was almost dying a few times. And I had refused because it was like, no way. And that time I actually had a choice. It's like, we do it or you die now. And even though my soul and my deep self like really didn't want to do it, I accepted it and it saved my life. But to this day, I wish, and this is why one of the reasons I'm bringing you on, is that I don't think it's the right solution because removing parts of you doesn't solve the problem. I still have an autoimmune body, and whatever blocks with all the inner work that I've done, I'm still, my health is something that I still struggle with all the time.
Ah.
But the work that you're doing, like I said, I've been doing inner work for 40 years and I eat clean and I've tried so many things, but I still have a lot of issues. And having your gut removed, your colon removed is not a good solution.
Yeah, and
It's a lot of problems.
only in very, very rare circumstances you might have to do it. But the colon, all of the gut cells heal very fast if they're given the right environments to heal, because they're the fastest replenishing cells, body tissue cells.
They
So
are.
they can grow back very quickly if and healthily if you give it the right conditions, environment to heal.
Wow. I didn't know they were the fastest. I know that there's a lot of
The stomach is the fastest, and then the gut is the rest of the gut.
wow, fascinating. So
Yeah.
so that's why when I came across your work a month ago, I felt like I know that I still have things that are blocked in me. I know my body still needs a lot of some new support because I still believe that my best years are ahead of me. So it's not like I'm giving up in any way. But what you do, it was so profound, the rhythm and the breathing that you do. And I thought that if I can help people like not take drastic medical measures and go more with the healing of the soul and of the body through something like you that I didn't have back then, I think it can, well, it helps a lot of people, but I think it can help people that don't know about it, that might be introduced to it through my channel.
So you get a new intestinal lining every 2 to 5 days, right?
Seriously.
Yeah. You get a new stomach lining every 3 to 5 days. So you can heal these cells, right? Very quickly. So if you've got ulcers, ulcers can heal very fast if, and that's what I want to talk to you about, is how do we create the right conditions for healing? Like, what does that really mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let me ask you about
Yes.
your own healing journey. So, are you in remission?
Well, I don't have a colon anymore, so ulcerative
Oh, you
colitis,
had it
I don't
taken
have
out in the
anymore.
end. Oh,
No,
you
they
had it
took they
taken
took
out.
it out at 28.
Oh,
So so it's not there anymore. So I
so
don't
what
have
do you
ulcerative
use instead?
colitis.
What do you use instead?
It's the small intestine. It's reconstructive surgery that I had.
They did reconstruct. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
are you okay?
Um, Not really. I mean, eating has always been a big issue, and I've never said this publicly, but without a large intestine, like I go to the bathroom, oh my God, I'm going to say this in public, 10 to 15 times a day, still
Oh
to this
gosh.
day.
So that's really annoying, isn't it? And debilitating.
Yeah. And I've had other issues because I still have autoimmunity. My body is still not aligned the way it should, uh, in spite of a lot of the inner work that I've done, which is
Yeah.
why I love what you do and I want to hear from you because we store so much and there's something for people who are highly sensitive and or have chronic illness is that we're in a constant state of survival. And when I do your breathing, I get away from that. and I reconnect with a space that is not a state of survival more than I have been able to, I think I want to say, with other modalities that I've done, which is why what you do is so exciting to me. And I think it can apply to, not just people with chronic illness, but people have done other things and it hasn't worked. And maybe they need something else. And yours is so dynamic and combines so many things that it really takes you into, a different state.
That's it. Altered states. So in Ayurveda, the most diseases are the result of a spiritual disturbance, right? So it's energetic, spiritual disturbance. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Well, the word spiritual actually means to breathe. It comes from the word espiritu, Latin, breath, life. And every breath we take is, that energy that's produced by breathing is responsible for all the functions of your body, all right? So disease is when the energetics of your body has gone off balance, okay? So some of the things that can cause that is severe trauma, right? So an incident, which I call an UDIN moment. UDIN is a checklist, UDIN. U stands for unexpected, D stands for dramatic, I stands for isolating, and N stands for no strategy, right? So if you could think of an event that's happened to you that ticks those boxes before the age of 11, like, can you remember back? Is there anything that you can remember that might have happened?
I have worked so hard to try to find something dramatic, like in an instant of drama. The only thing, which is pretty dramatic, but it's not like a shock, is that when I was 11, I was like severely bullied in school. And there was this girl that created a club with badges, which was the gang against Annie Paquette. And she bullied everybody into joining, and they would wear their badge. And I became very isolated. So that's,
And did
that's
this
pretty
colitis
dramatic.
come after? Well, yeah. Did the colitis come after that?
Yep.
There we go. I think you found your cause. So that ticks all the boxes. Was it expected?
No.
No. Was it dramatic? Yes. That's pretty dramatic at that age.
Yeah.
Was it isolating? Yep, you're on your own. Like everyone's being bullied into rejecting you, basically, right? And was there any way you could get out of it?
No.
Very
And
difficult, right?
because I'll just add, because of my high sensitivity and whatever shame comes with that, growing up, like I didn't have a dysfunctional family, but whatever was happening inside of me, when I started having symptom and bleeding from ulcerative colitis, I didn't tell anyone for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So talk about the isolation at 11 years old, not even telling my parents.
So you're
Sorry.
highly sensitive. Yeah, of course. So if you're already highly sensitive, the Udin moments will affect you even more, right? So basically, if that's the point of trauma, okay, how's your relationship with your mum?
It's great now.
You said now.
Well,
How was
because
it
now
growing up,
um, she
up
was
until 11 years old?
she was extremely loving. Like she was a stay-at-home mom and she enjoyed what she was doing. But I think it's me that felt like I couldn't share what I was truly feeling. So
So,
the
okay.
truth of me didn't come out. I was more like a victim, bullied my sisters and all that. So I just felt like the world was mean. So I was a little
Okay.
artistic,
So,
but kind of a victim.
so a lot of fear there.
Yep.
And you said it's great now, but why was there a point where it wasn't?
No, it's just the depth of connecting happened at some point, I think in my 40s. I got really sick, and this time I decided to tell her and let her help me. And from
Yeah.
that moment, our connection and intimacy and our friendship developed.
So connection with your mum was not strong until later on. That
No,
wasn't like an easy Okay, so what about with the father?
Um, well, my mom's going to listen to this. My
It's okay.
father was um,
Nothing's their fault, by the way.
right, right. They were
Yeah.
just doing who they were. Now, my dad worked a lot, so he was not at home much.
Ah, okay.
He was
So
with
it was
us during the
more
weekend, but he
more
was
connection with mum.
also ju judgmental. It was hard being a child of my father.
Okay, okay. This makes a lot. Yeah. So these are all the things that can start to, especially if you have internal problems and you don't have an outlet for it, it's the internalization of emotion, right? These is what causes it. Now, sometime, so colitis, ulcerative colitis, is fear manifested as disease. All right, that's what I put it down to. It's the emotion of fear. You basically shit yourself. Okay, you know that
Yep.
expression, shit myself. So yeah, it's the same
Hmm.
thing. So that means if you don't have an outlet for fear, like not having connection, the mum is the one who gives you nurture, safety, and security when you are the most scared, because that's the first connection you have with the mum is when you're born. You're purely alone. So the only
Yes.
person who you nurtures you and gives you food and sustenance is your mum. So you have an incredible bond with a mum. All right. But when you grow up, if you're not able to get the same empathy, love, and care because you're scared to share your truth, right, or just not able to share your truth, this starts to create the disconnection with the one source of comfort that you most need. So people sometimes get autoimmune diseases as they get older because they become very distant from the mother. Maybe the mum becomes disappointed in them. And now they've lost the connection. They're not able to open up to them. They're not able to communicate, right? That can internalize emotion and manifest as fear. Fear manifests as disease. Manifests as disease. So relationship with mum has a big impact on autoimmune. Because autoimmune, if I look at it like this, if you look at yourself evolutionary, right? Human beings evolved many millions of years ago from single-celled organisms coming together because they got tired of fighting with each other and they decided to come together and create a multicellular organism. So they came together on the basis of trust, love, compassion, right? So they came together and they created a multicellular organism. So we're all actually, in essence, based on trust, love, compassion, right? Now, if you you get born into this world and you start to have this belief of the universe doesn't like you, the world's out to get you, nobody likes you, you don't fit in, don't belong. Oh, and my mum, I don't feel like I can speak to her either. What starts happening is your cells start getting confused because it now thinks the world is a hostile place, right? Your immune system.
Yep.
And then what it does is it gets confused at what is healthy and what isn't. So then slight allergens, it could be sensitivities to food, it could be just even just emotional stress, right? Later on will start to make overreactions of the immune system because it's on high alert. And then eventually it turns into full-blown autoimmune disease where healthy cells attack. And you are, according to your Ayurvedic systems, I can tell, are you a tall person or small?
Nope.
Are you very slim?
Nope. Just medium built.
Okay, so do you have more of a creative mind, or are you like somebody who remembers things very quickly, forgets, and then forgets it
Extremely
quickly?
creative. I am a
Very creative.
constant creator.
Yeah, so you're more of a Vata mind. Your body is more Vata Pitta. So you are very similar to me. So, um, like, do you put on weight easily, or do you just stay like the same weight all the time?
I can put on weight easily.
But
I
what
have
about when you were younger?
uh, when I started school in kindergarten, I ballooned.
Were you on lots of steroids though?
No, no, I wasn't sick yet. I was like
Oh,
five
oh,
years
okay,
old.
okay,
Yeah, but
okay.
it's just
So
so
you got
so
big.
my body does take on weight. depending on my environment.
Yes. Okay. So, but
Yep.
it varies. It fluctuates your weight.
Yep.
So that's a Vata quality too. So Vata is variable weight, sometimes up, sometimes down, fluctuates a lot. Pitta is more steady, like muscular build or athletic, and Kapha is usually big build, big bones, and sometimes overweight. So you're more Vata actually, and Vata Pitta are more likely, especially when the Pitta is triggered, um, to suffer from colitis. This is all in the Ayurvedic text, and that's what I had. We're the same in that nature. You described me almost, right?
Mm.
So the Ayurvedic system for Vata Pitta, there's a certain lifestyle on how to live your life if you're a Vata Pitta person. Okay, so for you, you become your environment. You're more sensitive to your environment. Like Vata people are much more sensitive to their environment. So you will morph into whatever your environment is. And that's why like the energy of the people you keep around you is so important. Like you can't have toxic people in your environment. It will trigger you too much. Kapha people can handle it much more. The big bone
Mm.
people, they can handle abuse, be in an abusive relationship. You could never be in an abusive relationship. It would just probably be the end of you. So how is your relationship and stuff like that?
I'm on my own. I was divorced 2 years ago, and before I was only married 9 years, and before that I spent most of my life alone, working
Yeah.
from home, isolated, like going out into the world, kind of a challenge, and always need a beautiful environment close to nature.
There we
If
go.
not, I die. I'm like my body
Yeah.
dies. Yeah,
Truth, right? Exactly what I'm
yeah,
saying. So
yep.
yeah, for you, environment is key, right? But so you're doing all the lifestyle things that's going to keep you well, right? It seems. Like, what about your diet?
My diet is always an adjustment, but I mean it's 100% organic and like
Pure,
it's
no
very pure.
allergens. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
and only spring water that I get myself, and
Nice. Lucky
so
you.
that's
Okay.
always. But I have a lot. I
That's good.
mean, if we're gonna, my big stress is financial. I moved
Of
25
course.
times in the last 10 years.
Wow. What do you
It's
do for
like it's.
work?
I right now I'm doing this. I wrote a book that I
Yeah.
need PR.
So how do you pay the bills and stuff?
Um, it's been a struggle right now. I'm on credit cards.
Okay. So you need to sort that part out. Yeah.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm right on the edge of nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
Revealing a
So
lot in here. I didn't expect this with you today.
no, but this is better than me going on about my life, right? So basically, so you've got to work on that. That's so you remember you're going to be very sensitive to fear. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is you've got to like get really um, realistic about achieving things. But the thing with Vata is that you have the ability to create magic. Like you can manifest better than most people because that's your as a gift as a Vata creative. So, but don't be wishful. You need as long as you are rational, right, and you keep doing the work, it will eventually turn into something great. It's just the law of how it works. This is what happened to me. I'd lost a third of my body weight. I had no job, no money, and I moved away from my parents because it was too toxic the environment. So I went to live with my friend. I wasn't paying rent because I couldn't afford to, and he was paying for my food, and I owe a lot to him, and somehow I managed to make it work. This my Swami's little message of this is a gift that you've got, use it and make it in something worthwhile, changed everything, and it worked. Right?
I
That's why I'm here.
believe in that completely, which is
Yeah.
why I'm not giving up on what I'm doing.
But your healing is going to come, the full permanent cure is going to come from the resolution of this UDIN moment that happened. And when you let go of that unconscious on an unconscious level, right, everything will change. Like you say, your language is important because you say I'm in an autoimmune body. Now, here's the problem with saying that, is that by saying that it's a confirmation to stay in that state. You're confirming that that's what you are. You've resigned to that, which is not your truth, because that's just a temporary aspect of your life. It's not permanent. Okay, so that can be resolved. And a big part of that's going to come from this horrible programming that happened to you, completely not your fault, that left this imprint and installed in your operating system that you have to be alone, nobody likes you, the world's out to get you, it's a hostile place, and that's it, right? And that's the worldview that has been formed from 11 years old, right? And
Yep.
11 is the manifesting number. It's a spiritual number, very significant number, 11. It's the 1111 is like a very symbolic number for me. It's a powerful manifest. So whatever happens, whatever belief system you have is amplified on the number 11.
I
But
was
you have the
born on the
ability,
11th.
huh?
I was
Oh
born on
my
the
gosh.
11th.
So you are more of a manifester than you even realize. So you have the power to now manifest anything you want, right? It's just a choice now, a decision. So that's why we have this. I don't know if you did the 21 days yet.
I
That
have
I,
not.
so I'm going to gift that to you, and I want you to become the best testimonial of that program.
This sounds great.
There you go.
Yep,
How's that?
yep. That sounds great. So, by the way, your program is called Soma Breath.
Yes.
So that we let people, what I've been using is your app, which has there's the free and the paid, but even the free has a bunch of like fantastic meditations, like breathing technique of how
Yep.
you do it. And I don't know if we'll have a little bit of time today for you to share a little example. And if not, we'll direct people to the app to,
Yeah.
uh,
I can do a 6-minute session right now.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
So I'm
that'd be
gonna play
cool.
it. It's already recorded. It's really good. And I just want to show the power of what we do, right? So in just 6 minutes, most of our sessions are 20 minutes to 60 minutes and longer, right? But we also have a lot on the app, short sessions, like these 6-minute sessions. And the cool thing with this is that it gives you a dose of this active mechanism for healing called intermittent hypoxia, which is lowering your oxygen for a brief period. It creates magic within the body. Your body becomes stronger as a result of it. So does the mind, right? So the way you do it, okay, this technique is everyone can do this if you're watching sitting up with a straight back. So to correct your posture, breathe in all the way fully from the belly into the chest, and then just breathe out. And now you'll notice that you got a straight back, right? So when you breathe in and sit tall, and you let go, you get a straight back. So that's the posture, okay? Now we're going to be doing rhythmic breathing to a beat. So when I say in the session, you're going to breathe in through your nose, and you're going to breathe in through the diaphragm up into the chest. And then you can even contract up the sphincter muscles at the top. And then you breathe out with a slow exhale to the beat. So you're going to hear in, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. You're going to do this rhythmic breathing over and over again. No pause between your inhale and exhale. Just rhythmic, circular, connected. And then you're going to do the breath hold part. Here you're going to breathe in through your nose. You're going to breathe out. Hold your breath after 4 exhale. Let your chin drop to your chest. Relax every muscle in your body. Come completely still, relaxed. Hold your breath until maximum effort. So you cannot hold your breath any longer. And I'll give you some commands on if you need to take a breath in, breathe out and hold. You can until you get the big command to breathe in. And now you hold your breath on the inhale. You can also contract up the sphincter muscles. Imagine you're being pulled up by a rope by your crown. And you breathe up and you send up this energy up to the brain. and you hold your breath on the inhale, this is where I want you to visualize, right? You manifesting all the results of the results of all the results of all the things that you would be able to do if you are perfectly healthy, right?
Okay.
Imagine all of the things you'd manifest.
Okay, and just for people listening, like on YouTube now, like pause this, and if you have some headphones, put them on, because the music and what you feel inside when you have headphones on is like a completely more intense experience, and I recommend that you do that.
So you hold your breath again for about 30 to 60 seconds until I give you the command to let go of the hum. Hum. And then we finish. Come back to normal breathing. Okay?
Okay, got you.
Let's begin. Welcome to the SOMA Breath Intermittent Hypoxic Training Sequence, where you're going to be breathing in a 2 in, 4 out rhythm with a breath retention phase. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. That's right. So now sit comfortably with an upright posture, relaxed. When you hear me say in, breathe in. And when you hear me say out, breathe out. The smooth and consistent rhythm to the rhythm and groove of the music. That's right. Let's begin. 3, 2, 1. Exhale and in. Breathing in, breathing out. The smooth, consistent inhale and exhale. Breathing in through your diaphragm, then into your chest, and letting go on every exhale. This rhythm should be effortless, relaxed, with no force. Deepen your breath slightly, taking longer, deeper breaths, but staying in that rhythm. Deepen your breath even more. Begin to breathe deep, full breaths in that same consistent rhythm. Just 3 breaths left before the breath retention phase. 2 breaths left. 1 last breath. Now take a deep breath in and breathe all the air out, holding your breath after a full exhalation. Relaxing the shoulders, your chest, and let your chin drop towards your chest and relax every muscle in your body. That's right. You have 60 seconds remaining on this breath hold. If you need to take a breath at any time, take a little sip in through your nose and breathe out and hold your breath. And you can repeat this as many times as you need to until you get the command to inhale. That's right. Stay calm, stay relaxed. You are perfectly safe. Allow your muscles of your body to be relaxed and at ease. Let your shoulders drop, soften your jaw, your face, becoming very relaxed. You have 20 seconds remaining. You're doing great. See if you can hold your breath slightly beyond the comfort zone, going beyond what you thought was possible. Overriding the fear of holding your breath rubs off on other areas of your life where you may be having fear that holds you back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take a deep breath all the way in and hold your breath after full inhalation, pulling up the muscles around your pelvic floor, your sphincter up, contracting up. You send this energy up like a spiral of light into your midbrain, illuminating you to the light of this blissful awakening. And focus now on maintaining the state of stillness by holding your breath for as long as you comfortably can. Now you have 15 seconds remaining of this breath retention phase. Relax muscles in your chest, your diaphragm, your face. Just stay calm and at ease and enjoy that stillness. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let go with a hum. Now, coming back to normal breathing, observing how you feel, noticing any changes. Congratulations, you have now just learnt and experienced how to do SOMA Breath intermittent hypoxic training. So if this felt really good, then imagine doing a whole 20 to 60 minute full deep dive session. You can find a variety of these on the SOMA Breath app, inside our courses like the 21-day awakening journey, and in our instructors' classes. Alright, so coming back slowly, back into the present moment, fully alert, fully present, ready to get on with your day in a blissful way.
Yes. So thank you for that, for giving us a little bit of a taste. And I wanted to just add a few things. One, you said earlier that music was your passion, and there was a little sample of your music there, but in some of your meditation, the music is amazing, and you are the composer. And that's like a beautiful thing because it's such a gorgeous creation that you make with every one of your compositions, and it's really, really beautiful.
Well, I have to give a shout out now to some of the amazing world-class musicians and also famous DJs who have now started to create soundtracks for SOMA Breath.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So the second thing I want to say is the Soma breath that you teach, like we didn't touch upon it, but it is ancient wisdom. It's not something that you created, right? We hear a lot about about breath work these days, but what you're teaching here, it's based on like millennia of ancient practice. So it's not just a new thing that is appearing out in the world.
So it's based on ancient wisdom, but
Right.
with science that we now have that backs up the techniques.
And that's the other thing I want to say about the science, because I've listened to a lot of your talks, and the science behind that breath and the hold and all that is really, really scientific and deep. And you explain it well in your interview on Next Level Soul with Alex Ferrari, and also on one of your interviews with Vishen on Mindvalley. So if people want to learn more about the science behind it and hear you more talk about that, I will put the link in the video description below. And what's the other thing? And also in one of your other talks, you had mentioned that you were working on something, because when you talked about me, the Vata and all this in Ayurveda, you have a program. Then what you call it is finding your element.
Correct.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we have a very comprehensive Ayurvedic questionnaire quiz that basically calculates your mind type, your body type, and your overall type based on the Ayurvedic system, profiling system. And then it gives you a report with a customized lifestyle plan with exactly what you should do to create a balanced lifestyle according to your unique bio-individuality. And it gives you all these nuances of the percentages of whether you're Vata, Pitta or Kapha. And these are the three elements that we're composed of, three different states of energy that we're composed of, all human beings. It's very logical. Vata is dynamic energy, right? So it's energy that moves, space, air, gas, and the ether that moves, right? The prana that flows. Pitta is fire, but it's your metabolic energy. So all the energy of all your metabolism, all the energy being produced in the cells, all of the combustion going on, the digestion, all the metabolic processes are Pitta, controlled by Pitta. And then Kapha is structural. So that's your physical body, your structure, the structure of who you are. And it's known as Earth. So if you think of the world, the planet is composed of gas, air, ether, space, fire, because all the things that are being produced through energy, and then structure, matter, physical matter. So we are as well the same. So that gives you different personality types, body types, and also a way of life according to what your composition is of those elements, right? And that's why we're all unique and individual, and that's why a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. That's why the medical system doesn't work, because they try and blanket everybody as being the same person. And they give like silly concepts, for the masses, like the food pyramid, which is completely wrong. And it doesn't work for a lot of people, that food pyramid. So, especially if you're somebody who's Kapha, who has an easy ability to put on weight, if you went on the food pyramid that they prescribe to the whole planet, you would gain so much weight, become obese, and then look at the amount of obese people in the world. So that's why with Ayurveda you can figure out exactly what foods you need to eat, what lifestyle you should lead, even the environment, climate you should live in, and the types of careers that are most suited to you. It's all worked out by this bio-individuality test. So add that link as well.
Where is it? I'll add the link.
I'll send you the link because it's
okay.
somabreath.com/BIT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to provide that. I think a lot of people would be interested in getting that feedback from
Amazing.
that ancient knowledge. So
Brilliant.
That's really fabulous. So where else can people find you, find out more? What do you offer? I know that you offer some teachings also to create Soma Breath coaches, and on social media, where can people find you and follow you?
Yeah, so best place is go to my Instagram at Niraj Naik Official. So there I put a lot of amazing hacks, free content, lots of info, advice, and some interesting articles that I share now and then. But then Soma Breath as well, you can follow at somabreath.com. Oh no, sorry, just at Soma Breath. And that there's a lot of cool engaging content. You can see our community. And we also have a YouTube channel, Soma Breath. The app is a very good place to connect and have live classes and all the things you talked about, the pharmacy, breathing techniques. But we also have instructor training. So a lot of people do our 21-day awakening journey. So I'll give you a link to that. You're going to get that as a gift. But then they also go on to become instructors to create a new career or add a side hustle to their existing business or work or career, what they're doing. And then you transform your life and change other people's lives too.
Mm. And you also have a program on Mindvalley for people who are there.
I have a Mindvalley quest as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the breathwork guy of Mindvalley.
Yeah, you're becoming the breathwork guy for a lot of people, actually.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I'm telling people listening, go check out the Soma Breath sessions on the app Soma Breath, and you'll just know what I'm talking about. See if it hooks you, because it totally hooked me. And I've tried a lot of things in my life with decades of looking into all kinds of things. And this is unique and it touched my heart, and it's making me feel like I found a new key. And that's one of the reasons why I reached out to you. And I am so grateful that you agreed to come here, because I know you're super busy these days, and it's an honor. And like I said, I'm grateful.
Well, grateful to be here too and share my message with the world. So thank you so much for stepping up and doing this and stepping into alignment with what you really want to do with the world and turning your illness, a gift, into a gift.
Yep,
Beautiful.
absolutely. Okay.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Niraj.
Thank you so much, Annie. Much love.
Bye.
Beautiful.